Good morning. My name is Cadet Corporal Zakiah Brown. I am a proud student of the Akron Public Schools. I am also the senior class president and a member of the ECLC nationally ranked United States Marine Corps JLTC program. Will you please rise and remain standing for the marching on of our national colors by the ECLC Marine Corps Color Guard and the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance by all.
Present. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Colors. Ready, cut, left, face. Forward, march.
Good morning. My name is Sienna Harvey. I am the senior class president at Bookdale CLC. Thanks to the support of my principals, school counselors, my teachers, and academy coach, I'm a senior with a bright future ahead of me. It is so nice to be here with you and share a student's perspective on unity. What unity means to my peers and I is teachers having relationships with each of their students. One of my favorite teachers, Mrs. Turek, would have tea time with Turek. During tea time, we'd make our tea and sip and read for around 20 minutes, and that's when we'd begin working. After, she'd bring sugar, water, and all different types of teas, and she helped me discover my favorite type of tea, which is Tezo's glazed lemon loaf. She is a teacher with so much positive energy. These types of teacher-student relationships help change school cultures and students' lives. Positive school relationships change the way students think about school. Relationships create positive school cultures where students feel safe and can focus on their schoolwork. As students, we also love to see our teachers have a good relationship with each other. We like to see our teachers vibing and combining lessons. Two of Bookdale's teachers, Miss Nara and Mrs. Hinkle, had a combined lesson about kites. It was so cool seeing them bounce ideas off of each other. As a cheerleader, I enjoy seeing my teachers at sporting events, supporting me and the rest of the Bookdale teams. When the Bookdale's boys basketball team made it to state championships and won, there was a strong feeling of unity. Seeing the students, the teachers, and the community in the stands, it was such a strong feeling of joy. It was so much fun, and it made my peers and I feel so special having them there. Unity creates a special feeling where everyone is special. Everyone in this space is special because you shape, mold, and guide students towards a bright future. Your commitment and dedication makes a profound impact on our lives. I visualize a united APS where the teachers, parents, and community all come together along with our new superintendent, Dr. Robinson. My bad, y'all. Dr. Robinson. Come together in unity to build a community of accomplished students who are proud to be a part of this APS family. So as a part of this special APS family, will you please join me? When I say community, you say unity. Community? Unity. As a community of family, please welcome Board President Dr. Hall to the stage.
I didn't realize I was getting promoted today. So thank you for the time. Thanks for allowing me to be here today. Unity. Wow. What a loaded and complex word. What is the definition of unity? It's a word that implies and assumes so much. And how do we know when we've achieved unity? What am I measuring or evaluating in making a determination of whether or not we are unified? Certainly, transparency, trust, collaboration, collegiality, love, shared vision. But does that mean eternal agreement? That is to say, if we are unified, do we always agree on everything? And how much of these component parts are required, and in what amounts? What do we sacrifice to achieve unity? Because surely unity requires some sacrifice. Do we sacrifice our principles? I think not. Does it require compromise on prioritization or how we set our priorities, the ordering of those priorities? And with whom do we need to be in unity? What parties need to be unified, and perhaps most importantly, for what purpose? So, where are my performing arts people in the crowd? They have you sitting in the back. Okay. Well, you know, the drama folks are pretty dramatic, right? So we got sit in the back. All right, I get it. But anybody that has studied drama, my performing arts folks in the back, has probably spent some time or had to read all, or hopefully not all, but an excerpt of Aristotle's Poetics. Aristotle's Poetics, the earliest surviving work on Greek dramatic theory. And yes, Aristotle's Poetics contains this idea of unity. 3 types of unity, in fact. Unity of place, unity of time, unity of action. So when we say place, what does that mean? Classroom? A single classroom? A floor of classrooms? A school? A cluster? A school district? A community? When we say time, what do we mean by time? Is it any time spent teaching in a classroom? Is it time spent encouraging a student? Is it a semester worth of time? Is it a school year? And when we say action, the determination of a singular plot. What do we mean by action? Is it the time spent involved in a singular intervention? Is it the time spent reviewing with a student after school the quadratic formula one more time? Is it the time that you spent patting a student on the back, saying, "Great job"? Is it the time you spend talking to a parent, telling them how well their student is doing? Is it the time you spend talking with a parent or guardian about the challenges that the student is involved in? Let me offer my thoughts on place, time, and action. When I think place, I think every place a student will be. When I think time, I think any time spent teaching, encouraging, or mentoring a student. Any class period, any school day, every school year. And when I think actions, I think all actions that are calculated to transform our students into better human beings. You know, in healthcare, we talk about the word statistics. And so often the word statistics has a negative connotation. In fact, so much so that in healthcare journals, we refer to statistics as patients with the tears wiped off. But when I think about educational metrics, I don't think about patients with the tears wiped off. I think about students with smiles of achievement on their faces. So action, I think about action as all the activities that are calculated, again, to transform our students into better human beings. Not just metrics, because certainly a school is more than just metrics. Are our students better each and every day for the time that they spend with you? So in closing, I want you to consider this concept, this idea of unity, and what it really means. Don't just brush it aside as, oh, unity, that's super easy, I get it, because it's not. Unity is not a destination. It is not static in nature. It is dynamic. It is the maintenance, that is to say, the constant working of maintaining a fragile equilibrium that requires constant calibration and recalibration and alignment of its important constituencies: school boards, the administration, teachers, our unions, our custodians, our lunch workers. Because I will tell you that most of what I learned about hard work as a kid, I learned from watching our custodians and the lunch ladies in our building. They're examples too. But city officials, parents, families, and students, how do we align and keep aligned those important integral constituencies? So I want to thank all of you in advance for the work that you will be doing to ensure that our students are better human beings for having spent time with each of you each and every day. Thank you and God bless. And next, let me welcome to the stage our presumptive mayor, Mr. Shamus Malik. Put your hands together, folks.
Good morning, everyone. You know, I thought it was interesting. I know there's assigned seating, but I noticed that the part right in the front was the last to fill up, So it's not just students that don't like sitting in the front, it's teachers too. The other thing I want to say before I get started is, as an Akron Public Schools graduate, as a proud Akron Public Schools graduate, anything I say wrong up here today, you can blame on these folks over here in the Firestone cluster. As I was thinking yesterday, I was sitting thinking about what I wanted to say today, and I got a text message about the shooting that happened. And as I look out here today, I think about how so many of you go into the classroom every day and have to deal with such heavy stuff. I know there's such heavy hearts here. My heart is with the Helen Arnold family. My heart is with the East High School family. My heart is with the whole district for all the things that you have to deal with, all the things the students have to deal with. It's really heartbreaking. It's hard to face. But as I think about that, I think about how much I've benefited from Akron Public Schools. How much my little brother, when he was going through a tough time and my mom was sick, how much he benefited from Akron Public Schools, some of the teachers here today. How much my friends and classmates and colleagues have made amazing lives for themselves because of Akron Public Schools and the education and the hard work of the people in this room. I know that there are a lot of days where you go home and you have to work a couple more hours and it feels like you push the ball up to the top of the hill and then it rolls back down. I get that it feels like that. But every single day you make a difference in people's lives. You make a difference in these kids' lives. None of us can be saviors. None of us can wave a magic wand and fix the huge systemic issues that there are in the community. But each of us can make an impact, and you guys are doing that. So the last thing I would say in terms of unity is that from the city side, we are all going to be in this together. We're all going to have your back. We are all united, and I know we are. I don't have to ask anyone. We are all united in the goal that all of our children need to be safe and all of our children need to thrive. And so that is going to be my mission. That is going to be the city's mission. I know that's a mission we share with you, and I want to thank all of you so much for the work that you do every single day towards that. So now I will get out of the way, and I will introduce the most well-dressed person on the stage. Kofi is a lot of things. In addition to that, he's an Emmy-nominated producer. He's an actor. Most of all, he is a former APS student. He's your keynote speaker, Mr. Kofi Boakye.
Wow. Well, good morning, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here and to be back home in Akron, Ohio. Akron is home. Akron Public Schools is home for me. This is where I was at. North High School was, well, that wasn't the school I went to, but I played basketball for North, Miller South, jazz band with Firestone. All right. Akron Early College High School. Yeah, I mean, so I've been around a little bit. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you so much, Shamus, for that introduction. If you weren't busy next year, I might ask you to come on the road with me, but I feel like you might have some things to do next year, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, I know that sometimes introductions like that and bios and titles can be pretty, daunting, and you hear a lot of things about Emmy nominations, Apollo wins, movies, TV. That's cute and all, but sometimes bios and titles can break reality. And growing up in the church background, they always said, people see your glory, but don't know your story. Yeah, I see some of you have been to a seminar yourselves. So I feel like it's only been right if I can just take you a step backwards before I bring myself forward to you all. So just some brief background on me. I grew up in the inner city of North Akron, where the police sirens, yellow tape, body etchings occasionally were a familiar scene for me. And it wasn't until I was about 5 years old that we moved into an actual house. But that house didn't get us out the hood, but it certainly brought a sense of stability to a single mother raising 3 young boys to be 3 independent young men on her own, the stability that she needed. My mother is actually in attendance right there, yeah, so I want to give a shout out to her. And right next to her is my grandmother, who's right there as well. 80 years young, my grandmother is, and in just a couple weeks, she'll be celebrating her 60th, 21st birthday. There we go. I did it. But my father at the time, as my brother would best describe it, was maybe a part-time worker that wasn't too good at his job. Meaning he wasn't there all the time, but when he was there, it was better off that he wasn't there. And around the age of 8, my father decided to leave out of me and my 2 older brothers' lives, but when he left, he didn't leave silently. He said, "You won't amount to anything. You won't be anything without me. You'll be worthless. You'll be homeless." And for a brief time, me and my family were homeless, but my mother did a great job of never, making that the reality that we were living in. And so I had a choice at that time, APS. I could fold and believe those words that my father said, or I could flourish and I could do whatever I believe I said I could do. And here I am today. Yeah, a couple years later, I guess you could say that I made the right decision, but honestly, I'll be honest, it always led me to think, I'll never understand people that have never walked in your shoes telling you and having the audacity to tell you what your ceiling can be. For somebody that has never walked in your shoes to tell you what you can't accomplish in this world, it is absolutely crazy to me. I remember growing up, people would ask me what my dreams and ambitions were, and I'd begin to express it to them, and then they'd tell me it was impossible. But I had to switch that in my mind and say, I'm possible. Yeah, because when society calls you lost and hopeless, I call you optimistic and ambitious. When statistics deem you stupid, I deem you successful. When they call you worthless, I call you worth it. Why? Because the choice is yours. Yeah, the opportunity to be the best version of yourself is yours, and it's up to you in your life to choose to make it happen and do so. That wasn't even written in here, but that was all right with me. Well, I feel warmed up now. Can I give a speech, APS? Oh, I asked, can I give a speech, APS? Well, Dante, Calvin, they want one. Let's give them one. Good morning, everybody. Oh, I said good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm excited to be here today. See, this moment is definitely not about me, but it is certainly about the hundreds and thousands of staff, student leaders, and faculty members that are here in attendance that will help to make this year the best year for one of the greatest districts in this great state of Ohio. Make some noise for yourselves, everybody. Whether it be your first year here at APS or your final year, let me be among one of the first to say welcome to the 23-24 school year, baby. Yeah. I always love the start of something new. The start of a new school year in particular is always exciting, and I always harken back to that time when it was my final year of high school, when people would find out that I was a senior, and they'd always congratulate me on that accomplishment, but right before I could even say thank you, they'd follow me up with another question. What's next? Yeah, what college are you going to go to? What degree are you going to get? What's next? What job are you going to get? What's next? It's crazy how those two words could change the entire mold of my thinking. Even at that time, it hit me that it wasn't over. It was just getting started. And in a very real sense, even though, I was celebrating an upcoming graduation, as I've gotten older, I realized we're always graduating at every stage of our life, always graduating to that next step and that next point through our journey through life. And even preparing for the future can be a daunting task. Preparing for a new school year can be a daunting task. Man, I was so excited when they told me that this year's theme was unity because in a very real sense, and truth be told, I know language arts and English teachers, you can help me with this. If you spell the word unity, you can't spell it without you and I, which means you and I have work to do this year. Yeah, every individual in this room has to play a role in providing a better paved path of progression for not only ourselves, but for every student that walks on one of our educational campuses this year. Which leads me to my topic today. If you don't mind, I want to take a few more brief minutes to just talk to you about finding and discovering the what's next in your life. Yeah, it's my hope that this message carries a sense of universality in its theme, to just remind everybody that there's still time to make it happen. Yeah, from peers to politicians, graduates to grandma. I hope that there's just a sense of universality that everybody can get something out of this. So if you're not too mean, it's the first day of work, make a good impression with your colleagues, look at somebody and ask them, what's next? Yeah. Make it quick. I'm trying to be brief up here. Make it quick. I said, what's next? Not how you doing, not where you at, just what's next. So what are the things that are needed to plan what's next? Well, I'm glad you asked. I believe that every individual in this room has three things or needs three good things in order to plan the what's next for this upcoming year. First of all, we need good preparation. Say preparation. Hear me when I say this. I believe that a pathway to prosperity must be rooted in a foundation. Yeah, a good year must be foundated. You have to be rooted in something, because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Yeah, so the work starts right now. The preparation starts right now. The preparation doesn't start when you're in the fire. It starts when you smell the smoke, baby. But not only is good preparation important in finding out our what's next, but I also believe we need to have good character. Yeah, characters. I believe that the heights of your success are dependent on the values in your character. Character is so crucial to what's next. I'm telling you, I've met so many talented, skilled, gifted people in this world with career-crippling character. Oh, they looked like a star, walked like a star, sounded like a star, sounded like a celebrity with longevity, but then they started talking. Yeah. I remember one time in middle school, me and a group of friends were, I'm not gonna lie, we were getting in trouble. We were doing some stuff we weren't supposed to do. I know the superintendent is here and all my old teachers are here too, but I graduated already. Ain't nothing you can do now. Listen, we were getting in trouble and eventually the assistant principal caught wind of what we were doing. But one thing I will tell you, APS, that I had at that time was good preparation. Yeah, don't clap, because I prepared my best lies. I had an alibi for my alibi. I had a reason for my reason. When I tell you I was ready for this moment, I was ready. But as soon as she brought me and my peers into the office, and I told all my peers, I said, stick to the script, stick to the script. I started giving my explanation. Halfway through, she looked at me and she yelled at me. She said, Kofi, don't you understand? I already know you did it. You were on camera. I said, them things worked. I didn't even know them things worked. That's crazy. We got this, wow. She said to me, Kofi, don't you understand? Character is who you are and what you do when nobody is watching. Oh, and she was so right. That's resonated with me to this day. She was absolutely right. Character is who you are and what you do when nobody's watching, because the work you do when nobody's watching will contribute to the impact that you have when everybody is. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's not just about looking good on paper anymore. What good is a degree or a diploma when you have no decorum? How valued is a quality education with no quality work ethic? How purposeful and powerful is a political position if all you wanted was the popularity? I just want to make sure I'm still here. Okay, after that one. That was a risky one. I didn't want to do that one, but I did it anyway. So we have good preparation, we have good character, but it leads me to my third and last point. I'm out of here on this one. Thank you. Great crowd. We need good purpose. Oh man, purpose is so essential. Purpose is so unique. I believe that purpose is that gut feeling from within. Now, it's not tied into any specific talent or any type of skill set, but I do believe that if you trust your purpose, it'll lead you right to it. I'm a living testament of that. You got to understand, thank you, you got to understand the potential in your purpose. Yeah, I remember as a kid growing up before school, my mom would call me and my two older brothers every morning before we left out. She'd say, Kofi, Kwame, Andre, come here. You never knew if she was happy or upset. That was just the way she sounded every time. But one by one, she'd have us come into this bathroom mirror, and she'd say, Kofi, repeat after me. What I am looking for is in me. The past has no power over me. Negative thoughts have no power over me. Today is a wonderful day and a new beginning because I choose to make it so. And even to this day, before every major interview and opportunity in my life, I always make sure that I look into a mirror and say that same message. But as I got older, I started to question, how could a woman that dealt with so much emotional, relational, and financial abuse have the strength to look into a mirror and recite such a powerful message to her kids each morning? It hit me. She knew her purpose. Yeah, she understood that it didn't matter if she felt those words, but if she could just look in a mirror and have the hope of strength be reflected onto some kids that needed it the most, that maybe they just listened to what mama's voice had to say. Because so many people in this world will look around and say, oh, I wish I could find that person that could show me how to be successful, or oh, I wish I had that person that could give me the blueprint to achieving the highest pinnacles of success. And to that person in the room that's crying and trying and always looking to find that person in the world, don't worry, I found it. It's right here. All you got to do is look in a mirror, because in that mirror, you'll find your success. In that mirror, you'll find your inspiration. In that mirror, you'll find everything you've always been looking for because it's been in you the whole time. You got to start searching, start succeeding, stop wondering, start working, stop wishing, start winning, stop doubting, start developing, stop pretending, start preparing, stop receding, and start rising. Yeah, I stand here today more optimistic than ever before. I kid you not, I'm more empowered than ever before because I know that the greatness that's been etched upon everybody's life in this room has the potential to be fully relinquished by the time we exit it. Because I know I'm surrounding myself around thousands of individuals that are destined for nothing short of success. You have the ability to achieve the impossible, believe the unimaginable, do the unthinkable, and refuse to drown in the oceans of doubt or sink in the pools of defeat. Y'all not hearing me today. You got to put the work in this year, but catch this, even in this crowded space right now, in this unified, unity-filled room, all it takes is one person to spark a change. Yeah, it takes that one person to launch a community, and then it takes that community to ignite a city. That city inspires a state. That state can revolutionize a nation, and that nation can change the world. So be that one person, be that leader, be that individual that wakes up every day never wanting to waste a day, that person that's so excited and so focused on being even better today than they were yesterday. Because your what's next is right now. Oh, your new year is right now. Your new chapter of change in this book of life that you're writing, my friends, it starts right now. And my question to you all is, how will you write it? Thank you. It is with great honor, thank you. It is with great honor that I introduce to you all now next an amazing guy that I just met about 20 minutes ago. But I know why he is your 2023 Teacher of the Year. Make some noise for Mr. Toby Lichty Clifford, everyone.
Good morning. What a wonderful message. Thank you. Welcome back as we begin this new chapter. It is an honor to stand here before you today as your Akron Public Schools Teacher of the Year. For those of you who do not know me, I am the instructional specialist for our early learning program. If you were present at the Teacher of the Year banquet in the spring, you know that I have worked in various buildings, held different roles, and participated on numerous committees within APS over my 33 years. Prior to joining the early learning program, I spent my career in 6 elementary buildings as a kindergarten teacher, a lead teacher, and an EL teacher. I share this with you as a snippet of my career because it is through this movement that I have seen the greatness that we have in APS. And that is why I value the making of meaningful relationships. I believe this to be the driving force behind our success of our work. It is about the collective efficacy of each one of us here today and the relationships we build with one another, our students, and our students' families. Over the past 33 years, I have had the privilege of working with many great people across every facet of this organization. These people, many of whom are present here today, have taught me so much about the importance of working together to make our schools a place where students want to come and school staff want to work. To me, this is the definition of unity. The relationships we have formed all have a lasting foundation built upon mutual respect, trust, interest, and making others feel valued. Each of these people have demonstrated to me the importance of being present, canceling judgment, and showing kindness and compassion. These are the same qualities that I instilled into my own classrooms to create unity and to build that school family. Like many of you, I have established relationships that continue today. This spring, I celebrated graduations, enlistments into the military, enrollments in colleges, and new job opportunities. I hope your 2023-2024 school year is a year where you know you are a valued part of our whole school community. A year where all of us in all of our capacities will not only surround ourselves with people who are present in the moment, who cancel judgment, and show kindness and compassion, but use those qualities as we move forward in developing new relationships or strengthening the relationships we already have. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Lorraine Wise, President of Local 689, the Ohio Association of Public School Employees.
Good morning. I am Lorraine Wise, President of OPC 689. I am a paraprofessional at Sam Salem CLC. Welcome back for what we hope is another great school year for all of us. I am here on behalf of and in unity with AACP, Ohio Education Association classified staff, OPC Local 689, OPC Local 778, SEIU Local 1 MOT, SEIU Local 1 Child Nutrition, and SEIU Local 1 Safety Team. To build unity, you need to have trust, respect, open communication, listening, inclusion, and self-awareness of everyone from the top to the bottom in any organization. From our superintendent to the central office staff, to all the staff members who work with our students, to the paraprofessionals, to the child nutrition, safety team, custodians, maintenance, and bus drivers who make sure our students are safe. To our secretaries and to our print shop and foremans, we all have a voice, we all matter in the mission of ensuring the best education possible for our students. Individually, we are one drop, but together, we are the ocean. Together, we can make a powerful difference. Let's make waves. I implore each one of you to look beyond our individual roles and see ourselves as integral parts of a greater whole. When we join hands in unity, we become an unstoppable force for positive transformation. I would like now to introduce Pat Shipe, our president of the Akron Education Association.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I was sitting up here looking out at all of you and thinking that many of us probably thought yesterday was June 1st and we had a whole summer in front of us still. And then you woke up this morning and here we are starting another school year. I think the last time we were all, every employee, able to come together under one roof was over a decade ago. So it's really exciting to see everybody here. I've spent the last few months really reflecting on the last couple years at Akron Public Schools. And while it's true that we have accomplished much to be proud of, a greater and more determined approach to equity across our district, increased choices and pathways for graduation for our students, a thoughtful and impactful investment by this board in the safety and security in our buildings. Thank you for that. We have also faced many challenges, and many of those challenges we face still today. We continue to see declining student enrollment in Akron Public Schools. We continue to see unacceptably high absenteeism from our students. We see violence in our communities, which is a crushing tragedy for our families and our students and for all of us because it impacts Akron Public School in an incredible way. And that's something that we all must work on. Without enough available resources, our board faced incredibly hard decisions to make about our legacy buildings. How do you address all the needs and make decisions with less and less resources? How do you give our children and all of you what you absolutely deserve? Beautiful, well-designed, and functional buildings to learn in and to work in and to succeed in every day. In striving for just that, we are also faced with asking the Akron community in the very near future to further stress their own budgets and invest in our children and pass a levy. But most concerning at all, I believe the largest challenge we will face in education, particularly in the state of Ohio, is the continued war that many of our politicians in Columbus have against public education, and particularly urban public education. But what we cannot do, what we must not do, is allow these challenges to divide us, to satisfy the few at the expense of the many. In many ways, we have become disjointed from each other. Many of us working in making decisions in a vacuum. Not necessarily in a purposeful way, but because the balancing act in our lives, our families, our work, the pressures we all feel coming at us every day, those things can become the perfect storm. A storm that requires something to give. And without even realizing it, we disengage from each other. We don't see each other. We choose the path of least resistance, even if sometimes that's the wrong path. Disjointed does not work. Every great team knows this. Every team that has done what has never been done before knows this. Putting women and men into space to explore. A relay team smashing a world record. A team developing a vaccine to fight a pandemic and save millions of lives. Even our own Bookdale boys basketball team winning a state title for the first time. All of those teams understand the power of teamwork. When reflecting on what made Apple Computer so successful, Steve Jobs used to say, through a team of incredibly talented and intelligent people, bumping up against each other, having disagreements and even arguments sometime, making some noise, but putting work first, collaborating together, working together, they polish each other. And they polish the ideas. And what comes out of walking through that process of collaboration and teamwork can be something really beautiful. It can be something positively impactful, something worth uniting around. And he's right. But the first step is that we all must recognize how our roles impact and contribute to the success of everybody else. We must recognize that each one of us, no matter what our role at Akron Public Schools is, we all contribute and we're all woven together. All the roles we play are vital to the success of the whole. We must be connected together, united as one team for those kids who come through our doors every day. We must recognize and support our bus drivers who bring our students to school and back every day. We must recognize the important work that our child nutrition staff does to feed our children. The custodial and maintenance staff who ensure that our buildings that we learn in and work in are ready for us every day. That our teachers and administrators and coaches are working together as professionals to accomplish what sometimes seems like an impossible task, educating our children. To all those who play a role that I didn't specifically talk about or mention just now, know that we are all woven together. So how do we move forward? How do we move forward united as one team? Well, I believe that there are some things we should do and some things we should not do. We should stop competing with and comparing ourselves to every urban school system in this country. While we should always keep our eyes open to successful ideas from others, we should rather be super focused on Akron Public Schools. We must all work together as one. We must celebrate, innovate, reimagine, and shape Akron Public Schools into the district that all other school districts will wish to emulate. We will not chase their vision, but we will create and build our own vision. Thank you. We will not be building or flying in any planes anytime soon. Instead, we will keep our feet firmly planted on the ground, and what we will build will be relationships. Relationships with our students, relationship with our colleagues, relationships with our parents and our families and the Akron community. Because as a team, we will and can move forward with one unified vision towards the greater good. A unified mission to make Akron Public Schools the best that it can be. If you leave here today remembering one thing, please let it be that you understand the power of teamwork, that each of you matters, that your contributions matter, your voices matter, every single one of your voices matter, and that we must all move forward in unity as one to blaze this trail. Blaze a trail towards success for our students, for our families, and for everyone at Akron Public Schools. Thank you. And now I believe we're going to see a video. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce to you the Superintendent of Akron Public Schools, Dr. Michael Robinson.
Good morning and welcome. Kofi, you can come back anytime you want. This is home. Did he not do? Let's give him another round of applause. You can always tell when they come from good stock. I'm from the deep south, that's what my grandmother used to say. I want to acknowledge our board president, Dr. Hall, and also our board members who are seated in the front. Let's start with Ms. Jackson. If you would stand and just give a wave. Dr. Molnar. And Ms. Autry, who is our vice president of the board. Thank you so much. I'm supposed to be using these teleprompters, and we're going to see how that works out. Thank goodness I have this book. But good morning, Akron Public Schools faculty and staff. I'm Dr. Michael Robinson. I have been here for a couple of weeks, and I've already learned a few things about Akron. So in some places, the strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street is called a tree lawn, right? Actually, we call it a neutral ground in Louisiana. But in Akron, it's called the Devil's Strip. I'm learning. I'm gonna get Akronized real quick. Our city, and I did say our city, is home to the first major toy manufacturer. Was America's fastest growing city and invented public education still in use today. We also invented the Dum Dum Lollipop, which I would always get as a kid when my mom went to Lafourche National Bank. Lafourche is we have parishes in the state of Louisiana. We're the only state in the union with parishes, and so my home is in Lafourche Parish. And so we would go to Lafourche National Bank, and that's where I would always get the Dum Dum Lollipop. Never knew where it came from, but just enjoyed them. And of course, the Goodyear blimp. I would see those things. It's amazing how much I've learned since I've been here that I didn't even know where it all originated from. We also popularized humans eating oatmeal, which is one of my favorite foods. We put East Avenue in West Akron. And we hosted Clark Gable as a B.F. Goodrich employee for 2 years, 100 years ago. Always had Goodrich tires, didn't know anything about where they came from. Tires and rubber were king for more than 100 years. But before that, Akron was the sewer pipe manufacturing capital of the world. I have fallen in love with Norca soda pop, which is in the deep south we would call a cold drink. Norca, by the way, will turn 100 years old next year. And in case you may not have noticed, Akron is spelled backwards. That's Norca. And I just consumed an entire bag of peanut butter and chocolate Buckeyes. Thank you, Ms. Outley. She actually introduced me to Norca, and I didn't tell her, but I went and bought 2 of those little cases. So I've been walking around drinking those up. But thank you so much for introducing me to Akron. It is important to feel part of the community, part of the team, to be rowing, as they say, in the same direction. So as we begin this new school year, let's begin this year with a theme to carry us through the year. And that theme is unity. As you can see, I'm wearing the t-shirt. Mark, I don't know where he is, but he and his team designed it, and the committee designed, and so you will see unity, APS, but us. And so I'm going to ask, as the technology team is working on that, that will become a part of your signatures in your emails. That theme, unity, is something that you've heard a lot about today. But I want you to not forget about the U and the S in the whole thing that says us. You'll see APS unity, or simply the word unity, being used as often as we remind one another of the importance of this in our mission to educate young people. Today, as I talk a little bit about unity, there will be some points that I'm going to make centered around the focus that we will have this year. Trust and confidence. Unity among educators fosters a sense of trust and confidence within our school system. When we stand together, we show our scholars, parents, and the community that we believe in the power of education and are committed to their success. Trust is the foundation of strong relationships, and it is essential for us to trust one another as we work towards our shared goals. Healing past wounds. In an organization, there may be past disagreements or conflicts. However, unity has the power to heal these wounds and create a fresh start. Let us leave behind any misunderstandings or grievances and embrace the spirit of forgiveness and understanding. Together, we can build a stronger and more cohesive team. Moving forward, I am not just here for the moment. I do want to be clear about that. I'm not a drive-by superintendent. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not perfect. Things may seem a little iffy for a moment, but I ask you to be open to new ideas and a new way of moving forward. I thank the board for my 5-year contract, but I do hope to be here for longer than that. As the superintendent, I'm not here to dictate or impose my ideas on you. I'm here to collaborate and to work alongside you. Together, we will shape the future of Akron Public Schools and restore trust and integrity with our families and community. Join me on this journey and actively participate in decision-making process. Your input is invaluable and your perspective matters. The answers we seek are right here in this room. I will be extremely hands-on, engaged as your superintendent who will be in buildings, looking at teaching and learning. I will be in the community, meeting, greeting, and seeking support. With me, there are no big I's and little U's. Everyone, every faculty and staff, especially our bus operators, my dad was one for 30 years, non-certificated staff, our cafeteria workers, my grandmother was one for 30 years. And school secretaries, my sister is one today. Collaboration. Collaboration is the lifeblood of any successful educational institution. We must work together not only within our schools, but also with our external partners, the business community, our faith-based community, industry leaders, diverse organizations in the wider community. The success of our students depends on the strength of our collaborative efforts, which will be evident in the Blueprint for Excellence, our APS strategic plan, and our coherence framework. Effective communication. Communication is the cornerstone of unity. We must engage in open and transparent communication at all levels, listening to one another, exchanging ideas, and seeking to understand different viewpoints. Together, we will create an atmosphere where everyone feels heard and valued. Accountability. Accountability ensures that we are all responsible for the progress and success of our scholars and schools. It is not about placing blame, but rather taking ownership of our actions and holding ourselves and each other to a higher standard. Through accountability, we can continually strive to improve and achieve excellence. Our data is our data. Together, we will make strides towards improvement. We will lead, not follow. I want 5 stars, not 4. I want an A+, because an A- is not acceptable. Stability. Continuity in leadership is essential for growth and progress. I am committed to serving you and making the city of Akron and Akron Public Schools my home. But my actions will certainly speak louder than my words. Let us work together, embracing change when necessary, but also finding common ground to move forward. It is through unity that we will bring healing, trust, confidence to our schools and restore the public's perception and trust in us, the trust that today does not exist. It is through unity that we will collaborate and work towards a shared vision. It is through unity that we will communicate effectively, hold ourselves accountable, and provide stability for our scholars and our staff. Let us remember the values that brought us here: humble beginnings, respect for all, and a commitment to serving the next generation. As we embark on this new academic year, let us stand united in our resolve to make Akron Public Schools the beacon of excellence for our city, our state, our nation, and the world. I did not come from a rich or a high society lifestyle. I was raised by devout people who taught me how to have a value system, to be humble, respectful, kind, and courteous. My great-grandmother always taught me to walk as if I have $1 million in my back pocket, but to never look down upon anyone. Walk with pride and dignity, but never see yourself as better than anyone. My mother, a retired school teacher of 30+ years, would always echo the same. Stay humble, she told me that on yesterday, and grounded. They wanted me to be the best that I could be. Whatever you whatever you have can be taken away with a quickness. As your superintendent, I will make mistakes. Don't talk about me. But talk to me. Join me on this journey and let's do this together. I'm excited to be on this journey with each and every one of you. Let us walk together with pride and dignity, knowing that we are a part of something greater than ourselves. Let us embrace unity, for it is the foundation upon which we will build a brighter future for our scholars. Thank you. Before Dr. Hall ascends back to the microphone, I just want to say again that I am so pleased and so gratefully humble to be serving as your next superintendent, as your superintendent. It really and truly is humbling, but I didn't get here by myself. There were so many people that worked with me and helped me and coached me and also fussed at me. And so I would be remiss if I did not recognize one who has been a pioneer in this field long before I ever thought about becoming a superintendent, long before I became an educator. But I do want to recognize Dr. Stuart Berger, who is working on our transition plan, but one of my strongest mentees, and trust and believe he handles me like I'm his own. I have to remind him who I am, though. But thank you, Dr. Berger, for being with us today. And to my mom, to the memory of my dad, who I know is smiling down on me, but to my mom, she reminded me yesterday, be humble, be kind. Remember from where you've come, and remember that you're working with people and treat them the way that you have been taught to treat people, and how you want people to treat you. Because we do tell people how we want to be treated. And so I want you to know, as your superintendent, I'm going to be around. I'm going to be in buildings. Don't be alarmed when you see me, because I'll be spending quite a lot of time there. I want to also recognize, before he comes, I want to recognize our cabinet and our senior level people. If you could just stand wherever you are in the room, wave wherever you might be. If you could please stand to our cabinet, our senior staff. Dr. Carla Chapman and the committee and all of those, Mark, Communications Department, who made this possible. Let's give it up to them, please. Thank you. They were here on yesterday. I would have been here. I won't call the name of the airline, but they canceled my flight. And well, they delayed it, then they canceled it. I had to pay for another ticket through another airline. That was a whole fiasco, but I made it here 3 o'clock this morning, but I'm here. I would have walked if I had to. And I was sharing with Dr. Carla, and she said, well, what were we gonna do? I said, well, you're gonna have to bring me in virtual. But I'm glad to be here. I would have not wanted to be any other place but here. I'm going to ask for all of our stage, those that are sitting on the stage, Kofi. I want you guys to come and kind of stand around right here. I'm going to ask for the senior staff if they would come and join on stage wherever they are. Come off that wall, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Ruth, come on up. You couldn't ask for a better person to help support me. Our board members, please, I want you to come up, please. our union, all of our union people, representatives, please come to the stage. If we have any elected officials that are here, please come up to the stage. I want you to recognize, I want you to capture this moment, because this is what unity looks like. Now, we're not going to always agree on everything, but what you're not going to do is, you're not going to hear in the newspaper that we are fighting and rumbling with one another. I don't do business that way. And even if we don't agree, we will agree to disagree, but we're not going to do it in a disrespectful, unprofessional, and demeaning way. But I want you to see this picture, and I want you to remind us of this picture when we step out of line and we step out of that unified marker, because we're human beings. We're all people. We have feelings. We have emotions. We may be serving in different capacities within this school district. It doesn't matter where you serve. What matters is that we're on the team, and there is one team. There's one APS team, and that's all of us. And so together, as my grandmother would tell me, I'm sure you've heard this, grandmama, together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. And so together we're gonna stand. The city, the county, elected officials, our unions, we're gonna our board, we're gonna work together. Our principals, wherever you are, principals out there and administrators, please stand. Let's give it up for our principals. I know you could do better than that. Our assistant principals. I know you could do better than that. They work very hard, and they don't know it, but they're going to be working harder this year than they probably ever had. So I want you to give them another round, because they're going to need it. But then I want you to give it up for our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our custodians who are working hard right now getting these buildings together, our cafeteria workers, our secretaries, our volunteers, those people who are standing at the door on the first day of school smiling and greeting, the people who are answering the phones. Give it up for them, please. Yes, thank you. Our counselors, those are my friends I met the other day. Yes. Regardless, our communications people, those people that you're gonna see doing a lot of things, they're taking pictures, they're doing things that you don't even think about. But let's give it up for those people that are working behind the scenes to capture every moment in time. As I yield to Dr. Hall, I want you to know that this theme is not just words. It's not just a word. It is who we're going to be. We're going to lock arms and we're going to work together for the betterment of our community. I cannot forget about one of our scholars and family who is grieving right now, and one of our other babies who was tragically shot yesterday, and we want to continue to keep that family in our thoughts as well. We need each other, and we need each other to survive. We need each other in order to have a community. That's what community means. It means together. And so please, as we leave this place shortly, let's never leave the presence of what unity means. And remind me of it again, over and over again, when you don't see us being unified. But everything that we're going to do is going to be done with excellence, and we're going to be unified in how we move Akron Public Schools forward. Thank you, Dr. Hall.
We'll dismiss this. Hey. Wait, where you going? 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 I have a 10-minute speech to give. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So just on behalf of the Akron Public School Board of Education, we want to thank all of you for being here. Thank all of you for being on stage. I think the board got this right. Dr. Robinson and Dr. Thompson are two recent hires. We're thankful and grateful to have both of you here. Dr. Robinson, we're happy to have you and grateful to have you here leading us into what we see is a unified future. I will say I'm still a bit shaken from the momentary elevation to your job that we had there early on. Ms. Harvey, thank you. I haven't quite recovered from that yet. I wonder what happened. So this is the end of the program. This is the section dismissal. So we want to do this in an orderly, proficient, military manner. So I want to thank, this is it right here, okay. All right. She's making sure I'm saying the right thing up here, by the way, and that was not on the script. So first, we want to thank all of our student performers, including the following: Emery Lieb and John Soa from Ellet CLC, Rowan Toth Seplow from Firestone CLC, Jermaine Maunel and Renaha Moore from Bookdale CLC, Andrew Jackson, Nehemiah Thrasher, and Marquise Terrell from East CLC, Anthony Grable and John Soa from Ellet CLC, Cameron Colbert and Piper Wise from Firestone CLC, Willie Tomzik and Tamaya Richardson from Garfield CLC, and from my alma mater, North High School, Mitsana Rosser and Micaiah Whitlock. So at this time, we will dismiss each section.